Hey Barb, how you doing? Your audio is muted. You got to unmute your audio.
There. Hello, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. What's the weather up there? Is it getting cold?
It is getting cold, and but we're gonna have a sunny day today, but cold and not quite down to zero yet. Or yeah, okay. Fahrenheit, no, Celsius, right? So not quite freezing. How about you?
Well, Friday here was absolutely beautiful, but then yesterday it got a little bit cooler. This morning when I went out, it was 41, so not
Oh yeah,
terrible, but
okay.
we're getting there. You know, I keep looking because I got to winterize my irrigation, but I want to make sure I'm done with it. So
That's the same stage I'm at too. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to, like everybody else, get, the plants all done up and everything, so I don't need any more water, but then get it all put away. So yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much where we're at, you know. So I guess today what we're trying to do is, you know, just kind of get a feel for what everybody has gotten out of their membership to the Backyard Growers Business Center. So kind of give
Right.
us a clue as to first of all, you've been with us for some time. I know that.
Yes. Quite a long time. Yes. Are you still
And I
there?
know that you've had
Oh.
successful sales and so on. So kind of give us an overview of how, you know, I guess how you value your membership to, you know, to the Backyard Growers Business Center.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Okay. So I see some other people coming on here.
Yep. Aaron's there, Linda, Priscilla. Somebody else, it just says MacBook, so we're not sure. We'll figure out who that is when they turn their audio on and their video. Anybody want to get started and kind of share your experiences with you know, as a member, what your membership has been like for you?
Oh,
Changes
okay.
that it's
Well,
made. Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
I'll go ahead. Okay. Um, so I started with Mike's backyard growing system, probably, well, definitely over 20 years ago. I can't even remember. I've lost track, but I've always been interested in growing plants and so over the years, anyhow, so I joined up and quite honestly, it's been the best thing I've ever done. Personally, I've built up a small backyard nursery, and I wouldn't have had, without the knowledge that Mike's group has supplied me, and it's been wonderfully interactive. So you get the knowledge that you need right when you need it. You can ask all the questions you want, and the most knowledgeable people, including Mike, of course, uh, helps you along the way. It's so personal. It's like you just feel like you are part of that family. And it's not a get rich quick thing. Like some people might be skeptical about that because, they think it's not the real thing, but I can tell you it's the real thing, and it's hard work, and you do have to work at it. You have to be passionate about it, and those are the things that I am. And you build on it. You can start small, you can do it on the side, you can have a regular job, which is how I started. I was working full time, and it's absolutely addicting is what it is. And if you've got the passion, you can do this. It works. It really does. I had a lot of sales just in my driveway, nothing formal. And people were so responsive, so happy to have somebody sell plants that it's overwhelming, really. And so that's where I've developed my my nursery, and as a result, I was able to retire early from my job, and this is now my retirement income and enjoyment. So I am more than thrilled that I've been doing this.
And
Mike,
I'm also going to point out that you're in Canada.
yes, I'm in Canada. You can do this in Canada too.
And one of your fellow Canadians, well, probably been a month or two back now when we were doing one of these meetings, she mentioned, because she's an artist and she makes things out of wood and does all kinds of things, but she said the one thing about plants is that they are so easy to sell compared to like handcrafted items. I mean, people come seeking plants.
They absolutely do. They they will come after you looking for plants. And with the concept and the unique selling point that Mike has developed, which is you sell your plants at a really good price, and people are just falling over each other to come and buy your plants. It's totally amazing. It's mind blowing, actually.
And when you say a really good price, that doesn't mean you have to give them away. You can really charge anything you want. I sell a ton of plants for $6.97, but I also have plants that have sold for a couple $100. You know that so you can it's great to have that low level item, but like with my 697 stuff, there's still a lot of profit in it at that, and we sell a lot of them. I think you kind of do something similar, right?
Yes, I do. Actually, I have one section that I just section off in my nursery, and I put a sign there. I say all plants on this mat, and I've got like a mill felt mat area, and I just say all plants on this area are 698, 697, whichever, I use 698. It's the same thing, really, I know. But and then I have another section where I have like my 2-gallon size, 3-gallon, 4-gallon, whatever, and I'm not going to sell them for that price. So they average, 12, 13, 15, 25, $35, that kind of thing for as they get bigger. And I put the effort into them, and people are more than happy to pay that. It works.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking for that larger size plant and are more than willing to pay up to get it. So
They do. A lot of them like the bigger ones, but they at the same time they go and they just fill up that wheelbarrow one after another with all the lower priced ones, and then they also like the choice of having bigger ones. So works great.
and I guess another thing that I probably want to ask people about is most people are reluctant to sell anything to anybody. And I'm actually one of those people. I've developed marketing skills to overcome my, whether you call it fear of selling, which early on, that's really what it was. But with this, you don't have to sell. You just have to make people aware of what you have.
That's exactly what I find, because I'm like that. Probably a lot of people are. I'm not a salesperson. I would never go to somebody's door and ask them to buy something. And I don't go around town, telling everybody, come to my place, blah, blah. I just, over the years now, we're on to the Facebook thing. I just put the word out without having to do a single thing. I put my ads out and people flock. They just flock to me.
I have
I like.
exactly the same results. It's amazing, Um, sometimes parking is an issue. So
Yeah, we have people coming up our driveway as people are going down our driveway, and there's nowhere you can pass. But they all seem to be happy to do that. They'll back up and move around and let the next person out.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to share real quick?
Nope, but I certainly want to hear what everybody else has to say.
Yeah, don't run off because you may want to throw something else in here as we move along.
Exactly. Okay.
All right. Who else wants to jump in? Linda, your audio is off. You got to turn your audio on, Linda. Should be able to click a button on the screen there.
Unmute. There we go.
There we go.
I want to say hi. I will make the statement that you are one of the rare, real things on the internet.
Well, I
We're a
appreciate
family.
that. I mean, I'm not fishing for compliments. I'm
No,
just,
I
you know,
understand. I understand, but I'm trying to keep it brief. But anyway, yeah, I could have done this myself, without you. It would have been harder and slower and, more expensive and not nearly as much fun. It's just wonderful. I feel like I'm an insider on something that is valuable, that is worthwhile.
yeah, I appreciate it. And actually, I did do this by myself without me early on, which is one of the reasons that I do this, because it was very frustrating and it was very difficult to get. And I've been around growers my whole life, but to get them to share with the minute that I would start asking nursery business related questions, people would get kind of quiet and just weren't comfortable sharing. And so that's kind of what drove me to do what I do for people that were just starting out. So
It's wonderful.
and I know you've been around a while. Have you, made friendships with people and?
I've never met anyone in person, but I do. I feel like I have relationships with several people.
Right.
Neil, of course, Renali. There's a bunch of them. Roger Higgins, you, of course, just a bunch,
Right.
and I buy from them often. I watch for their ads. And I just
Exactly. Where are you located?
I'm on Long Island. I'm in Huntington.
Okay,
Zone
great.
7.
Yeah. All right. Anything else real quick?
Not for me. Thank
All
you. I
right.
just want to thank you, Mike.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Lisa, your audio is off.
Hi
There you
there.
go. Hi, how are you?
I am well. I'm the newbie. I just joined this week to the backyard growers, so I'm just sucking it all in.
Are you overwhelmed?
Completely. I was before I joined, and I still am. I think one of the things I first noticed about the backyard growers spot is there's so much there because it goes back for so many years.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of scary to search something because all of a sudden an hour has gone by and you're just going through thread after thread after thread, and you just kind of find a way to get your answer and be done. And then there's more than one opinion on the site, which is good, but you can look up a question and find 2 different opinions on how to handle that. So I just did the 30 days because I wasn't sure what I would find. I think it's going to take me 30 days to go through 1 page of, of information.
And as I always tell new members, don't be afraid to ask the same question that's been asked 1,000 times. That's really why we're there. And every time you ask it, you may get a little different answer, because without a doubt, I'm doing some things differently than I did 5 years ago because I've found things that work better, or somebody has shared something that has worked better. So it amazes me industry wide. Years ago I worked for a local grower that did tree hydrangeas, and back in the day they actually layered them. They had layering blocks in the field. They didn't even actually root cuttings. They layered, and then they would clip them off and plant them in the field and let them grow for a couple of years, and they start training them into trees. Where today, and Roger is one of the innovators in our group doing this, but this grower down the road that does, I don't know, somebody told me they do $5 million a year just in tree hydrangeas. I know when I was there, they were doing about 100,000 tree hydrangeas a year. But now they're sticking cuttings 3 foot long, like Roger's doing, and producing that tree in way, way, way less time and less effort. So there's always innovations to be had. The plants never change. It's our ability to manage and manipulate them that changes.
Well, my husband and I built our first propagation box. It's 5 foot by 3 foot. and I wanted it to be full, so I spaced the plants way too far apart because it's so late in the season, but it looks good. And next season I'll do the 1 inch like you I'll suggest. But yeah, I'm just getting started, but I absolutely love it. This is my therapy, which I have a feeling is therapy for some of you too. I can't wait to try and sell. See what happens.
Okay, and where are you located?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay, well, you got a lot of company there. We've got a number of members in Pennsylvania. Are you friends with Lynn? Is that somebody just, Lynn
no.
McMillan? Okay, somebody just joined that was friends with Lynn from somewhere in Pennsylvania too, but that's not you, so.
No,
All right,
no,
well, anyway,
not
hey,
friends with anybody
welcome,
yet.
welcome aboard. And you did exactly what I really want people to do, is to just, invest $7 and hang out with us for 30 days. And you're either going to find out that it's a perfect fit for you or it's not, or maybe it's not the right time. I mean, we always have people who come in and then life happens and then they can't do whatever they want to do so they can get out. But, we always welcome you back in no matter what happens. So like Barb said, she's been with me for a
Thank
long,
you.
long time. And you're talking about the stuff in the archives. That's, I don't know, that's barely half of what was out there because we've changed platforms, I think 3 times now, and our archives have been eventually lost. So
Okay.
that's
Well, I was
technology.
studying patenting this morning, trying to understand that a little bit better, and selling, or not selling patented plants. I probably will be kind of quiet for the next week. Our daughter's getting married in our backyard on Saturday, so you won't see much from me this week, but after that, hopefully.
Yeah, and we're getting, well, the beauty of no matter when you join, the conversation in the discussion area follows the season. So, when everybody's getting ready to do hardwood cuttings, everybody's getting ready to put things to bed for the winter. We have a lot of conversations over that, how to overwinter this or how to do that. So even if you just follow along, you'll see what everybody else is doing. And then, we get into New Year's, and usually in sometime towards the end of January, that's when all the Japanese maples and stuff start showing up, the rare Japanese maples. And we got at least 3 or 4 growers that sell a lot of really rare Japanese maples. I think they're still in the $10 to $15 range, $18 for some of them, I think. I know I bought a bunch from Horace last summer. I think I paid $10 and $15, and I'll sell all those next spring. I've only had them for a little over a year, so.
Okay.
But
Yeah, there's so much
along.
to pick. Yeah, there's so much to pick from. Like what do you start with? Do you start with hydrangeas? This morning I was like, oh my God, I have to go buy limelight hydrangea because next year that patent is off.
Right.
It's like, oh wait, no, I should go get Japanese maples, or oh wait, no, I should go do Wigelia. So.
And that's part of the overwhelming, where you do get overwhelmed, but kudos to you and your husband, because the most important thing is to take some action, get started and do something, whatever it is. It's not wrong, and you can adjust the plan as you go along. So, and then you know how addictive it can be looking at the buy sell area and seeing things pop up, and that never ends. I mean, there's always new stuff being offered there. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks.
All right, Roger just showed up. We were talking about him, but we won't tell him what any of that was. So.
I can only imagine. Nothing good.
All right, Raj, you want to tell us your story? Tell us what's going on with you.
I just got home. It's cold here.
Yeah.
We're busy as usual, trying to get things kind of potted up bigger, getting stuff ready for winter. I'm going through my rooted cuttings, stuff that I want to get bunched up or potted up before winter, get them out of the stuff so I can have them in the spring. Thinking ahead, planning ahead.
I'm gonna point out that Roger, how big is your lot?
How big?
Yeah.
My property is 0.49 acres.
All right. So
that includes house, slab, and driveway, and everything else.
So Roger truly has a backyard nursery, which kind of wraps around 3 sides of his house. But and I've been there. If you dig back, we shot video there in the downpour a couple times, but one time was in, what were those videos even? I don't even know what to tell people to search for.
Well, we did one on overwintering the grasses because I covered the
Right.
grasses. That's where we started. We kind of worked our way around. We did the discussed my hosta bed, which was non-existent right then because it was just bare ground and
It's early
tags.
spring.
We did
And then you were
the
doing long cuttings of like dappled willow or something. I think we used.
I did the dappled willow trees. You showed the where my propagation boxes. I do some of those. But we did the Alberta spruces. You showed the little ones where I had them in the box. I've got more of them. I put in those. I redid those boxes. I made a long frame with boxes in it with dirt. That's my grow bed. I got some arborvitas. I've got the Alberta spruces in there. And a few other things. But trying to think, we did the cuttings. We worked our way up. We did the winter sowing stuff because that was early in the year. I still had that stuff sitting out. And of course, we got soaked, cold, and that's when Dustin, I get him the umbrella. Cute.
Yeah, I'm surprised any of our devices worked after that day. We were all soaked. So.
And we didn't get sick. You know, that was the good part.
Yeah, no, we
And
didn't.
you were here the month earlier in February, the end of February. You picked up some dogwoods that I had, and you brought me some green giants, and it was the hottest day we'd ever had on record in February. I mean, it was in the 70s, I think, that day. And you came back a month later in March, and it was bitterly cold and raining.
Yeah, and then within the next week or two, Dustin and I made 2 more trips to Pennsylvania, to Neil's place and to Kathy's place, and it rained all 3 trips we made that spring. So
well, you left my place and went up to Kathy's because she's up the
I
road.
don't remember, but
Yes.
yeah. And then we went to Neil's, and it was pouring the day we were at Neil's. So
Yeah.
And I think I was picking up coral bells or something from him.
Oh.
One time I was buying like 1,000 coral bells a year from him. So. All right, so Roger, real quick, tell us about your experiences as a member, being a member. And I'm going to point out to people, Roger is probably one of our most generous members, and people really, Linda's shaking her head, but Roger, you know, he's helped people out in numerous ways, and he's always willing to offer good advice and so on. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can I ask real quick, Roger, Roger, where are you located?
I'm in Cranesville, Pennsylvania, which is Erie County. We're up the north little thing. Neil's in the East County. I'm in the West County. As I put on my thing, I'm in the southwest corner of the northwest county of Pennsylvania. I mean, we're just a few miles north of the border. So, but yeah, Lake Erie is not too far from me in a way, but far enough away that it does affect us.
Okay.
I started in 2011, about February or so. When I first joined, the first thing I did is I paid Neil a visit. He took me around his place. It was nasty, snowy weather. It was so foggy you couldn't see your hand in front of your face hardly when we went out there. But he took me around and showed me what he did and stuff like that. He gave me he had a big 5-gallon buckets of acorns in his garage at the time. And he said, here, gave me a handful. He says, grow these. And so I took them home, and I didn't know nothing. I put them in a dish pan of dirt, and I had, I think, 28 of them started growing. So I put them out, planted them that first year. A year or so later, I decided, well, I'll dig them, pot them up. And I found out that oak trees bore their way on the way to China for their root. I gave up after potting a few of them, and the rest I went through and I cut them right off of the ground. I'm not messing with them. One of them decided to grow back. So I figure if you're that determined to grow, have at it. Right now, that tree is about 20 feet tall. That's what basically I work my nursery benches around that tree. If you've seen the pictures I put up, that's the oak tree I have. Because we don't not have red oaks here. We have maple trees in my neighborhood, not oaks. And last year and this year both, it started putting acorns out, so it's reproducing itself. But I started this. I do not come from a plant background. My parents did not grow plants. My father grew a hedge across the front of the house. That was it. You know, they might put some flowers, might buy some, and we never did anything. No gardening, no nothing really. I hate with a passion working in a garden because I had to. My father grew beans, he grew peas repeatedly. We did that. And so any free time was working in the garden, and I hated that. I'm an outdoor guy. I wanted to go hunting, I wanted to go fishing. Sorry, couldn't do that. You got to work in the garden. So needless to say, I do not do that here. I never did. But when we moved into this house that we live in, we originally moved in here to take care of my father-in-law at the time. And we lived around the corner. We moved over here to take care of him. And after he died, we bought the house. But while we lived here, I did not want to be in the house with him for many reasons. But so I spent a lot of time outside working and, you know, just tinkering around in the yard, trying to fix it up because it was neglected for many years. If you've seen the pictures that I do around here, what its place looks like, you would not want to see what it looked like before I started. But I started taking advantage of the, you know, usual annual sales, you know, the dollar plants and stuff. I thought, well, that's cool. I put them in, planted them here and there and around the yard. I've always kept my tags. I have boxes of tags here, like, oh, get out. But I started doing something, and somehow or another I came across Mike's website. Free plants kind of triggers a real cool alarm in my head. You know, okay, I'm getting dollar plants free is even better. And I got looking and said, well, Perry, Ohio, I know where Perry, Ohio is. I had never been there. I think technically I've only been to Perry one time. I think we drove by the high school this summer. But I thought, well, Perry, Ohio, I know where that is. So it's not bad. He's a local guy kind of thing. And so I figured I signed up and took advantage of it. Like I said, went to Neil's and looked what he was doing, which is nothing like he has now, but it was quite a bit. And I started, and I thought, well, I've got plants. First thing I did was I set up a mist system. I did not buy Mike's, but I have a mist system. I figured if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So that first year, summer of 2011, is when I started propagating plants. And I had a lot of them here in my yard, but not enough to do like I do now. And I started buying stock plants. I have a lot of them from Manali here. Manali toured my place last summer when she was up. I showed her some of her kids and grandkids that are here in the yard, so to speak. But
You've been down to her place too, right, in Georgia?
Yeah, I've been at her place. We went down a few years ago for my father's funeral. He lived in Georgia and about an hour and a half or so away from Atlanta, and she's just outside of Atlanta. So we dropped in on her unannounced. We went to Atlanta for the day, and on the way home, on the way back to my mother's, I said, we're dropping in to see Manali. So we went in there and pulled in the driveway, and ta-da! And she took us around. Her and Bala showed us around the yard and whatnot. And that was several months after they had their fire. They had an old barn there that caught fire. People didn't remember that burned. I mean, it was a lot of damage stuff. She lost a lot of stuff.
A lot of supplies and derived plants and stuff in there, right?
Yeah. She had all her shipping supplies and everything was in that barn. She had just built a temporary hoop structure, which I think she still uses that now. But the size of her propagating tent, or whatever she want to call it, there where she had all the plants started, and it's a woodsy kind of place. She had stuff all in the woods in there, and then she took us out the back corner. It was like this large open square that she had all her plants. I remember it kind of went. It was up a little hill, up a little rise right there. It was all just plants set up that way. And she gave us a few things, and we headed on our way. It was kind of cool because it was March, and when we left here, everything was frozen solid. Of course, down Georgia it wasn't. And Mike had given me some trees and stuff. We was at his place in the fall, and I kept his soil, which to me is like sand compared to my stuff. And I had all this pile of his dirt there, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool. I literally busted up this frozen pile of sandy dirt and threw it in a bucket, threw it in a van, and we headed to Georgia. Well, when I got down there, it was this muddy, slushy mess. But I told Manali, I said, here, this is some of Mike's dirt. And she said, oh, I will treasure this. And she took the bucket. I don't know what she did with it, but she probably has it on a mantle place somewhere.
I'm gonna interrupt you for just a second to make everybody aware that once a year, or at least once a year, we try and do like we call it the Backyard Grower Shindig, which we do it at my place. This year, because of COVID, is the first time that we haven't done it in many, many, many years. But we've also, about 2 years ago, I think we all traveled, a bunch of us traveled down to Georgia, and Renali hosted the event. I think she's actually had it twice. The first time I had a family emergency and couldn't make it. And that's what's the amazing part of this is that, because down there I got to meet all the people from the southern area. Our goal is to get out west to Washington, Oregon, up that way, and host an event up that way as soon as everybody can travel and get back to normal lives again. But you've been to the Shindig at my place many, many times.
Yeah.
You and I hung out digging trees together one time a few years back. So
yeah, we won't say what we talk about, but yeah, it's but yeah, I've been to a few members' place. I've been to Steve Dom's place. I've been to Manali's. I've been to Neil's too many times. We've been down to Barb Dombrowski's.
Weren't you just at Rod's place?
Yeah, we've been to Rod's a few times.
Yeah.
We were just down there a couple weeks ago, and everybody has their own twist on things, their own way to think. That's the thing that kind of gets to me in a way when you read the message board and you see all these people, especially new members, come out and want to know how we do it. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you get things through winter? How do you propagate stuff? How you grow things? Whatever. We each have our own microclimate, if I want to go that route. Mike is 50 miles to the west of me. Neil's 48 miles to the east of me. That's not very distant, but that's 3 entirely different worlds. Neil's in the same county as me, but his weather is 100% different than mine. His growing condition is a lot different than mine. Priscilla, there I see she's on here. She's listening. She ain't showing her face, but she's 21 miles from me. She's been here a few times. I know where she lives. I haven't stopped to visit her because I don't want to bother her, but I know where she lives. But her area is different than mine, and it's different than Mike's. And everybody has to kind of adapt what we put out there and kind of twist it to their own situation. It's just general guidelines. Mike put out phenomenal stuff about how to propagate, how to grow these things, whatever kind of plants and bushes he does. I do a lot of the stuff he does, but I do some different things. I get people that literally from around the corner from me that go to his place and buy plants. They come here once in a while too, but they go to his place and really go hog wild shopping or whatever. And then they come here and find out that, oh, you have the same things. It's like, yeah, I do. And you could have saved some mileage, but anyway, but we each have our own thing. I started out doing things the way he says, but then if you take the time and look at your plants, look how they're growing, how they're not growing, how your weather situation is or what, play around with it, and you can improve it. Not saying his is wrong, but it's an excellent starting point. It's not the only point. I have a bookshelf full of books. You see that bookshelf right there in that view? That is all plant books. I'd like to say I've read all of them, but yeah, that'd be a lie. I have read a lot of them. I glance through a lot of them. If I see a book, I grab it because they're all written by people that have done this. They do this. They do their way. It's a melting pot, and find out something what works for you. That's the key with a lot of this. I don't grow things in a heavy pine bark mix because I'm on city water here. It's water that we pay through the nose for. So I don't like to use a lot of water. My plants get watered enough to survive is, like I said, not to thrive maybe. I use a heavier compost mix, so it holds water way more than Mike's does, say. Okay, the water doesn't run through. I don't water all the time, but my plants still grow. People come back here over and over and over again, sometimes several times during the year. But they get things from me because they said my stuff survives. They buy things from other places and they die.
And you do a
So-
lot of sales from home. You don't have a lot of, in the way of parking, I know that.
No.
But you still do a tremendous amount of business from home, right?
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah, we
you
do.
know. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we have sales. I mean, we're open just about every day, all day. I mean, I work. I'm full time. I'm a machinist, so I'm gone all day. My wife Denise works. She's here at home. We have a driveway alarm. It goes off. Somebody's here. Okay, we go back. She goes back, and it's a sale. She is the first to admit, well, she says, I don't know anything about this. She says, they're just plants. And I said, well, you know a lot more than 95, 98% of the people that stop here. I said, she's learning a lot, even though she doesn't get into the stuff like I do. She's my muscle. She's my physical labor here. I pot stuff up. She moves it, stores it, and whatever. And she sells it. She takes the money. She likes that stuff part better. I think that's her favorite part. But we channels them during the day. If somebody, we always tell people that if they want questions or they need help, guidance and whatever they want to get for some area, to come either in the afternoon, evening when I'm home, or on the weekends when I'm here. And so we get people that come back. I get a lot of the cell phone photos, or, this is my front yard. This is what I'm looking for. Probably our best or biggest customers are the ones that we just bought the house, or we want to redo the, yard, or this is my mother's house. What can we redo it with, and stuff like that. So we get a lot of that here. Plus, when people come back, they don't come back next year. Last year, it worked good. Now, what can we add to it?
Come here and say hi to everybody. Roger's on.
Oh,
Look what she's got.
Hi,
would you make, Pam?
this is something I make for the trick-or-treaters.
We had a Halloween party yesterday, so.
Uh-oh. What is that?
Marshmallows. You like marshmallows?
Oh, that's a big one. Okay. I like marshmallows, but just
Mm.
Here.
yeah.
You're
couldn't hear
teasing
you.
us.
Do you like marshmallows?
Yeah, they're good, but
Okay, I'll
I'll
save
let
you
you keep
one.
that one.
All right.
Oh, okay. I won't be trick-or-treating at your place, so.
No, nobody does.
We
I
don't
make
do
all
that
this
here.
stuff. Nobody comes.
Mike will take care of it.
Yeah, just what Mike needs.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, Raj, real quick, kind of tell us what you found, the biggest value is being a member, and, today, even what the membership means to you, I guess, is.
Well, I mean, bottom line is, like I said, I knew nothing about plants. I'm not a plant guy. Everything I know, well, probably 98% of what I know, or what I know right now, I have learned and gleaned from being on the message board. I'm on there all the time. I'm on there several times a day. A lot of the older members that were on when I first joined, a lot of them aren't even on anymore. Others have moved on to other things or various parts. They're not on the board anymore. But it's a wealth of knowledge we got. People share a lot. So I have learned to do that. Like I said, a lot of it is just getting in and doing. You got to have your hands on and do stuff. Just because somebody says this and that, you've got to do it and try it yourself. And Mike's marketing is superior. I'm in the same marketing areas as he is, so I can't use. Like a lot. He always says, "Well, you can use my ads, you can use my stuff." I can't do that because I'm in his area. In years past, like on Craigslist, you would find Mike's ad, my ad, Neil's ad. plus a couple others. We would literally be line right down Craigslist. So if somebody went and was looking for something, they had the choice of 4 or 5 of us backyard growers right there to who to go to. But I still use Craigslist. That's still better for me. But his marketing is excellent. I mean, if you're not using his stuff either verbatim or that along that line, you need to. You know, I mean, I still get people who don't know.
I appreciate
You
that.
gotta
Well, yeah,
make
that's
it
the
known.
most amazing thing is even though you and I are close and there are other people that we don't compete with one another because the customers buy from both of us, you know.
Yeah.
It's never, there's never a shortage of customers really. I think Barb, you know, kind of alluded to the same thing as she's in Canada. So, all right, I'm going to try and get whoever else we can get in here. Priscilla, are you willing to turn on your audio and say hi?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know. I am so pleased that I pulled the trigger and bought the membership. I was very skeptical because I, you know, given that money, and I said that's a lot of money, and if I lose it,
Did I
But-
look dishonest? Is that why you were so skeptical?
kinda. No,
Yeah.
stop. I'm trying to be good, okay?
All right, all right.
But once I got on, I was addicted. It's so, it's such a fun place to be. I didn't know anything, but to learn over the years is, I mean, you get your money, out 15-fold back. I mean, it's priceless. And what I've learned from everybody, you can ask anything. I mean, anything. You don't even worry about asking a stupid question because it's no stupid question. Somebody is willing to help you out, calm you down so you don't think it's stupid. It's just a beautiful place to be. And like Mike said, it's like-minded people. And finally, I'm pulling the trigger over all these years that I've been on, but it's been very rewarding because I know a lot than what I did, what I first started. I know, you know, it's very rewarding to know that you know that much about plants and you want to know more. You want to know more, like you keep asking, you just want to know more. So I know where Lisa's at, like you don't know what plant to get because I've killed so many plants. Oh my goodness, I could probably retire on the money I spent that I killed, but it didn't deter me. I still wanted to plant and to grow and to make babies. And it's a beautiful thing to be with like-minded people because your family don't understand your drive. They don't understand it. It's only for you. But it's a beautiful thing to have somebody like Mike to guide you. I mean, because I was all over the place. And Mike has guided me. He's just not somebody that you bought the membership from. I know he probably might not say it, but I think he's a wonderful friend. He's a wonderful friend, and he would be that way to anybody. But
You've been to the Shindig a number of times, so you've met over the years a bunch of different members, and of course,
yeah.
you know you've met Roger and you know
yeah,
a whole bunch of people. So
and I've grown so close to them, to where it's nice to see the people. You know, I get tickled to death when I see Tom and Kathy. You know, they were so. I love that couple. But you know, and it's good to meet new ones. You know, I always want to go there to meet new backyard growers.
yeah, Tom and Kathy are awesome. They must be busy today because they're usually on these things, but they do an incredible job. They're in Pennsylvania as well, Lisa. They're in near Lancaster County, I think it is.
Right.
Up there in Amish country.
Yes, and Roger's close, so I feel comfortable enough that if I need a plan or if I'm looking for something, I'll ask Roger. He's real close.
She tolerates us. She comes here for a good pick on or something too.
Oh no, that's Mike. Believe me, Mike picks. You're light to wear.
Oh,
Mike.
is it? We'll
Yeah.
have to up the game. We'll have to up the game then. Huh?
Priscilla gives me a hard, she likes Pam. She says she doesn't like me.
Yeah. Well, she's that way.
Yeah.
Well, you both got very nice wives. So.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I'll tell her you said that.
But I'm very pleased that I joined. It's very rewarding. I encourage anybody that wants to even think about getting it into it. Spend that $7. I mean, that's a $7. You would say, why didn't I do that sooner? That's what you're going to end up saying. Why didn't I do this sooner? Because now that I'm looking more to maybe retire, I don't know. I know now I have a direction, and that's a beautiful thing. When you're in something that gives you direction, yeah, that's a nice place to be.
Well, Priscilla, I appreciate you jumping in here and, kind of sharing your experiences. And Priscilla's, we have an hour, you're about an hour from me, right? So she pops in, 2 or 3 times a year at least to give me a hard time or whatever.
she's about in the middle between you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth the gas money though.
Yeah, you're only about 15 miles from me, so.
Right. Yeah, I'm real close to you.
We go by there because we go over there and get gas now. But yeah, we go over to Ohio buy gas. It's cheaper.
All right, let's see if we get somebody else in here. Aaron or whoever's on the MacBook, either you want to turn on your audio or in video and jump in? All right, if you decide to just, unmute yourself and jump in and join the conversation. Barb and Lisa, Linda, anything else you guys want to add or questions that you might have, things that you want to discuss?
Can I say, I would like to say that I wish that I was in an area, I'm in Canada and, there's a good population here, but I don't have fellow backyard growers in my area. And I wish I did, because it's great the way you guys can all go visit each other and do that. But I feel just as connected being on the internet, being on the forum. And Priscilla said it very well, how you just feel like you're part of this group so much. Like I could just go over and have a cup of tea with you, you're everybody is of like-minded, and it really makes a big difference having that direction, that support. Mike McGroarty is absolutely genuine. He is on the forum. I don't know how, Mike, how do you do all this? I don't understand.
I no longer have a full-time job, so I have a little more time now. I've been
You
retired
used
from that
to,
job
though.
for about 10 years. So.
You used to. When I started, you did, and I'm not sure exactly what you did, but I know that you're the busiest person, but you always have time to get on the backyard growers, and you give personalized answers to people, and you get to know your members one by one, and there's thousands of them. So it's mind blowing that you even remember things I've said years ago. And anyhow, so I really appreciate belonging to this group. It means the world to me. It's my passion, and you guys are all my friends now. And just another thing is, I have met, so I don't live in a big population in a town, and there's maybe 25,000 people here. So you know people, but I have met so many new people from people coming to my nursery, and I enjoy conversation with every one of them. They go away thinking we have a connection, and we do. You know, you run into them somewhere else and you feel like
I
you
think
know
that's
them,
one
you
of
make
the,
friends.
I think that's one of the added benefits that nobody really sees coming in, but when people come and buy plants from you, they are delighted to be able to do so. They appreciate being able to have a conversation with the person that actually grew this plant with their own two hands. They are in awe of what we do and kind of dumbfounded by what we do, you know.
Well, that's
It's true. And the
yeah.
word of mouth is the best thing, you know. And of course, Facebook and all that, and you get all these compliments. People go, oh, go to Barb's. She's got the best plants. Her plants are healthy. I've got a yard full of Barb's plants. It's like, oh, that's exciting.
There's
Anyhow,
there's a couple things that are really good as far as for doing like we do for the retail like this. We get a lot of the people that they want to come here. I've had times where there'll be cars pull in with we are going to get swamped here, and find out that it's three sisters and their mother all coming because I got plants off Roger last year, so you want stuff, we're coming to Rogers. So they all come out here in one
Yeah.
big caravan. And so that, like, okay, good. It's really, anyways, they're all together. But so you get a lot of that. We get people that come out here. I get like, especially this year with all this garbage going on, people come out here and they go, wow, we're just so glad to get out here. We can spend time out here in your backyard. And they'll sit out here and talk with us and stuff because they love it being here. And they'll go, oh, that's right, we come out to get plants. But we get a lot of that. People come more and more that they don't want to buy off the, XYZ garden centers or whatever. They want to buy my stuff because I know what it is. I grow it. I want to see it. It's here in my yard growing, which I think is a big key factor for anybody who wants to do it. Plant these things in your yard somewhere, show them off, so see what they actually grow. Pictures are nice, but if you've got it growing, they can actually see what it is, even if it ain't full size. They see how it grows and actually in the ground. But and it's positive, it's positive proof that you know what you're doing too. And on the other point, I can relate where a lot of people can't. Of the thousands of members that are on this board, there are only a few of us probably that have been privileged enough to actually spend time one-on-one with Mike. Like Mike said, we dug trees one day. We literally scrubbed the snow off the ground, dig the trees out. But I had never done that either. He's showing me how to do this, and I'm taking my time. He's out there digging them out, chomp right through. But Mike is what he comes across as. What you folks are seeing when you see Mike sitting there, Mike is what he comes across as. I will say that.
Yeah.
We have been to his place to go over to get something, and we pull in, and he says, I forgot all about it. I got basketball games to go for the grandkids. He says, you know where the stuff is at? Just go ahead and take care of it, dig it, and I'll see you sometime later. I wouldn't do that in my place. Mike is a fantastic guy to do that. He knows me, he knows us, has enough faith in us and stuff. I've dug plants and he leaves. So I mean, it's something that those kind of people are hard to find nowadays, especially. But I really want to say that Mike comes across, he is what he is.
Roger, I appreciate that. And, I should also add that when we do our annual shindigs, when we can do them in person again, Roger always shows up with a van load of plants, and he's got this little, it's almost like a plant flea market because several people will bring stuff to buy and sell to and from one another. And, I remember one member was there a few years ago, and her car, there were two of them, and you were there, right? And her car was so loaded with plants. She came and asked me if she needed a board or something, but I mean, looked like a clown car with two women and plants and stuff that they'd acquired from me and Roger, and everybody else was there. And
they were at my place the day before, so they were loaded up from my place too. Then they went to the shindig. So.
Yeah. Well,
a lot
listen,
of, a lot
I
of members have been
appreciate,
here.
huh?
A lot of members have been to my place, either on the before or after the shindig. We get them during the summer and on times come here. I want to say that everybody's welcome to come here. It's always best if they let me know ahead of time so that, I know I'm here. But we've had people come here when I'm not here. My wife's, they'll tell my wife who they are, their backyard grower or something, and take us around. It's always nice to visit other places. You learn a lot by seeing things.
And I think that's a huge benefit, and that's, like, we have Canadian members, but they're really spread out and they don't get to interact the way that a lot of us do. I mean, we've got, and a lot of times what happens in the discussion area, somebody's like, hey, I'm going to make a trip to so-and-so, I want to stop and see backyard growers along the way. So they'll schedule, 3 or 4 stops and meet other members, which is just a huge benefit to be able to see hands-on what somebody else is doing and how they're doing it. So that happens a lot.
Right.
Aaron or anybody else here want to jump in real quick before we run for the hills?
Mike,
Yes.
I just want to say this. I know you have a hard time accepting compliments. It's obvious, okay? But you have to understand what you have did for us. As we just didn't join, and you just forgot us. I mean, it's priceless how I could call you and or I could just say, hey, can I come over? And you, just like Barb said, you spend time with us, and you don't throw me out. Kind of you do, but you do it but
I don't throw you out. I just go about what I'm doing.
Ignore.
And then you wander. By the way, is your son feeling better?
yeah, he has to have surgery, so
He does.
yes. So that's a little hindrance because I'm still having problems with my back, but I'm just going slow. I'm going turtle speed because I'm going to get through this year. But anyway, I just want to thank you for all that you did for me. I mean, you did so much, and I appreciate it.
But I appreciate your compliments and your kind words, but I also appreciate having all of you as members and friends because we all speak the same language. I don't pal around with a whole bunch of I don't have a lot of buddies that I run around with and do things like that. This is kind of what I do. So all of this is all just part of my life as well, and I appreciate I really want to get back down south again and see Renali and then all the people down there. And I'd like to get a lot of different places. So that's one of my goals. And everybody needs to remind me to, as soon as it's safe to do all that stuff again, which, next year will be a different year. 2020 has been kind of a crazy year that we'll remember for a long time. But by the same token, everybody in our group has reported phenomenal sales because people can't do anything else. So they're doing more gardening than ever. I mean, we've had an incredible year, and that's what I'm hearing over and over and over from our members. So we're very fortunate in that regard because a lot of businesses have been really hurt by this. So.
And I just want to say it, sorry interrupting, but it's no different here. The same thing. Same phenomena, great sales this year. Everybody's had that time to get out in their garden. They couldn't go to work. They were getting a subsidy from the government to not work because of this COVID, and people want to buy plants.
Yeah,
great.
exactly. Early in the spring, I think all of us were very apprehensive because we didn't know what we could do, what we would be allowed to do, because some places were being locked down and you weren't allowed to do business. But for everybody in the green industry, and this is not, I'm hearing this across the country. As I told, I mentioned on the board that I put in my perennial order for next year, and they are already booked up and sold out of all kinds of things that I was looking for, because it's just been, the green industry has fared really, really well through this whole thing, which, you know, that's a good thing for us. So.
I didn't sell this year, but just to hear the inspiring stories really got me going even more to get, or organized and get my nursery going. It's so good to hear other people's accomplishments.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good year. All right, we got a couple people we haven't heard from. Do you guys want to jump in? You have to, your audio too, you have to unmute your audio there.
Okay, I'm Jerry. I'm in Oklahoma. Most of you people are in the northern part. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that down here in Oklahoma and Texas, people join, and we appreciate everything you do, and the forum's just fantastic. I've been a member since 2017, met a lot of people. Paul Harrison over in Arkansas, we share a lot of information, suppliers and things. I tell him about suppliers in Oklahoma. He tells me about suppliers in Arkansas. So
And
just
he's
to
had
add,
a great year too, I know that.
oh yeah, he's tremendous. He's one of my heroes.
Good.
So just anything, I agree with everything that everybody said. I bought books, tapes, programs, and this is the only program that I've ever bought that I've made more money than I have with any other program. Other programs, you lose money. This program, I make money. It's worth it. It's 100 times worth what.
It takes work.
Oh, yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah, but also it's real.
Mhm.
The other part of those guys, they want to sell you a book how to do Forex. That's the hardest thing I've ever done. I bought a computer, 4 screens. My son and I studied the books, and all we did is lost money, lost money, lost money. Anyway, that's all I got to say, Mike. Appreciate everything you do for us.
What was your name again?
Jerry Mowdy.
Okay, all right, yeah, sure, I recognize your name. I just, probably the first time I've seen your face, so. Hey, listen, Jerry, I appreciate you jumping in here and sharing your experiences, and I'm glad that you're close to somebody there that you can, you know, benefit from and learn from and visit with, so. And I know Paul does a really good job, which, you know, and it's amazing, but we have a number of members in Arkansas that really do a pretty big business. So, all right, anybody else? Well, you know what, we've been at it for an hour, so why don't we let everybody get back to their Sundays and their families? And I truly appreciate all of you jumping in here and sharing your experiences. I'm grateful to every member that we have for allowing Dustin and I to do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you for everything.
You're welcome, Priscilla.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, bye now.
I'll